one word.
Sex.
Pogo stick.
Pogo stick. Sex with me is like a pogo stick. Hop on if you're a little kid. So if you have sex with me is like a pogo stick, just yell it out. Just yell it out.
Sex with me is like a pogo stick. Up and down, up and down.
Sex with me is like a pogo stick. No one's seen that lately.
Sex with me is like a pogo stick. Because I'll stand on top of you and I'll slam you in the concrete.
Sex with me is like a pogo stick. It's probably going to fall off.
Sex with me is like a pogo stick. I could never do it more than about 3 times.
Sex with me is like a pogo stick. If you lose your balance, you might chip your tooth.
Sex with me is like a pogo stick. I might fall off.
Sex with me is like a pogo stick. Replaced in the 90s with something better.
Sex with me is like a pogo stick. I held the record in my apartment complex.
Another word!
Cheap wine.
Cheap wine? 2 words. That's technically 2 words.
One concept.
Sex with me is like cheap wine.
Sex with me is like cheap wine. You should spit, but the people that want to get drunk spit.
Sex with me is like cheap wine.
Sex with me is like cheap wine. Because at first you're like, nah. And then you're like, alright. And then you're like, fuck, yeah!
Sex with me is like cheap wine. It comes in a box.
Sex with me is like cheap wine. You can get it at Walmart.
Sex with me is like cheap wine. It's an acquired taste.
Sex with me is like cheap wine. You're gonna regret it in the morning.
Sex with me is like cheap wine. Only $10.
Only $10!
Sex with me is like cheap wine. Easily available.
Sex with me is like cheap wine. I'm not supposed to give it to minors, but I do anyway.
Sex with me is like cheap wine. That's what they serve at the family Christmas dinner.
Just put him on the table here. Alright, another word.
Lasagna.
Snow race cars. The South African
Kim Jong-il. Sex with me is like Kim Jong-il. Short and fat and disappointing, and then you'll die.
Sex with me is like Kim Jong-il. Dead. Sex with me is like Kim Jong-il. I had to see on the internet that it was over.
Sex with me is like Kim Jong-il. Lasts a lot longer than it should.
Sex with me is like Kim Jong-il. Don't worry, my son will take over.
Sex with me is like Kim Jong-il. Don't worry, my cabinet will take over, but they'll say it's my son.
Sex with me is like Kim Jong-il. Kind of scary.
But really short, so it's okay.
Sex with me is like Kim Jong-il. Romery.
Another word. 1 word.
Double what?
Double wide. Yeah. A double wide, like a trailer.
Elevator.
We want double wide.
Sex with me is like a double wide. Because it's bigger than you think.
It ever crossed.
Sex with me is like a double wide. More things can fit inside than you think.
Sex with me is like a double wide. All that meth around.
Sex with me is like a double wide. Double wide. It's not quite big enough, but some of it has carpet.
Sex with me is like a double wide. White trash only.
Sex with me is like double wide. Surrounded by
Sex with me is like a double wide. I don't have running water, so here's some paper towels.
Sex with me is like a double wide.
They were too busy being awesome over here. Alright, one more word, and then I'll let you go.
Candy cane.
Candy cane.
Candy cane! Candy cane!
Fish.
Sex with me is like a candy cane. It's cooking and striped.
Sex with me is like candy cane, white and red. Sex with me is like a candy cane.
Sex with me is like a candy cane. It's really available, but nobody really wants it.
Sex with me is like a candy cane. You might chip a tooth.
Sex with me is like a candy cane. You start out licking, but eventually you just start chewing.
Sex with me is like a candy cane. Stuck on it long enough and I can stab a bitch.
Your mom buys them Christmas.
If you guys don't know, Devon likes to have sex with my mom. He talks about it all the time.
Sex with me is like a candy cane. It's all hanging on your bush.
Don't come back next week because we don't have it. But if you liked what you saw, please come back in 2 weeks. And if you didn't, bring something in yourself.